Okay, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're looking at a relationship that looked completely, absolutely perfect on the outside, but was entirely derailed by a single, mysterious message. We're diving deep into a story that's not just your standard romance gone wrong. It's really about trust, betrayal, and the heavy emotional toll of secrets that are hiding just beneath the surface.
I mean, think about it. What if your perfect relationship was a lie? We've all had that fleeting thought, right? Wondering if we truly know the people we love. This story is going to force us to confront the devastating impact of hidden pasts. Imagine finally finding your person, someone who supports your dreams, laughs at your terrible jokes, only to realize there's a completely different reality hidden just out of view.
Section 1. The Perfect Illusion. Let's start with Ethan. He's a 29-year-old software engineer living in Chicago. Ethan lived a very quiet life. He had a simple routine, absolutely zero drama. And then, completely out of the blue, he meets Sophie. And get this, not on an app, not through a friend's Instagram, but in real life at a bookstore cafe. She was smart, she was funny, calm, and clearly wasn't trying to impress anybody.
Let's trace how this all builds. Day 1, they have that meet-cute at the cafe. Flash forward just 3 months, and they are completely inseparable. We're talking spontaneous trips, those long late-night phone calls, making all the big future plans. And then, right at the 2-year mark, Ethan plans this gorgeous, picturesque sunset proposal by a lake. Their romance honestly felt like a movie, progressing beautifully right up until that fateful moment.
In her reaction, it was everything you would ever hope for. Sophie just broke down crying and told him, "I've been waiting for this moment forever." She said yes, and their entire friend group universally cemented them as the absolute perfect couple. Everything was, quite literally, flawless. Or so it seemed.
Section 2. The Anonymous Warning. Because as we know, perfect relationships sometimes hide the darkest secrets. Ethan's reality is about to be completely shattered, and the kicker is, this all goes down just 3 months before their wedding day.
Imagine the sheer, stomach-dropping dread of receiving this exact Facebook message from a total stranger. Before you marry Sophie, check her old apartment. No profile picture. No real name. Honestly, at first, Ethan actually laughed it off. He figured it was just some bizarre internet prank.
But then, a second message arrived. And this one contained a blurry photo of Sophie hugging another man. Ethan spent a totally sleepless night agonizing over one burning question. Who on earth was that guy? His stomach completely dropped, his entire world tilted on its axis as he frantically scrambled to get some answers. Naturally, Ethan immediately started calling Sophie, but for the very first time in 2 years, she ignored his calls. When she finally texted back the next day, she sounded incredibly nervous and used that age-old, terrifying cliché, "It's not what you think." And let's be real, hearing that phrase usually means things are infinitely worse than you think. Moving to Section 3, Uncovering the Past. Driven by pure anxiety and just an absolute need for the truth, Ethan decided to actually visit that apartment building mentioned in the anonymous message. And what happens next with the landlord? Yeah, it changes everything.
Look at this stark contrast. Ethan went in fully believing Sophie had lived a single, quiet life before she met him. But the landlord's reality was entirely different. The landlord recognized her from a picture immediately and casually asked Ethan, "Wait, you're not her husband?" He went on to explain that Sophie used to live there with a man for almost 3 years, and not just a boyfriend, a fiancé. In an instant, Ethan's entire understanding of Sophie's past was just obliterated.
The landlord actually handed Ethan an old package with Sophie's name on it. And the contents? Absolute nightmare fuel for a groom-to-be. We're talking old photographs, previous wedding invitations, and most damning of all, a breakup letter handwritten by Sophie herself.
The letter read, "I'm sorry, I can't marry someone when I'm still in love with another person." But the true shock here wasn't even the words themselves, it was the date. The crucial detail is that she wrote this letter a mere 1 month before she met Ethan at that bookstore cafe. Let that sink in. 1 month.
Section 4. The Confrontation. Later that evening, Ethan confronted Sophie. Now, picture this. A tense atmosphere, filled with absolutely zero screaming, no yelling. It was just a heavy, painful, crushing silence.
Sometimes silence hurts so much more than anger. Just pause for a second and think about that. When the silence finally broke, Sophie admitted the truth. She had indeed been engaged before, but it ended terribly. She confessed she hid her past broken engagement because she was terrified. She was afraid Ethan would think she was carrying too much baggage, and she was terrified he would leave her if he knew the messy truth.
And then Ethan asked the hardest question imaginable. Did you ever truly love me? Or was I just helping you forget him? Sophie broke down crying, but she couldn't answer. Her inability to answer through her tears gave Ethan all the closure he needed. Because sometimes the truth really doesn't need words.
Section 5. A beautiful prison. Just 1 week before the wedding, Ethan made his final, agonizing decision. Despite the absolute shock of their friends and family members literally begging him to reconsider, Ethan systematically canceled the entire thing. The venue, the honeymoon, the invitations, done.
Ethan came to a profound realization. Going through with it meant he'd be building a beautiful prison, a marriage or relationship entirely devoid of trust. It might look perfect on the outside, but he knew that building a life on a foundation of lies and hidden pasts would end up trapping him forever.
Following the fallout, Sophie packed up and moved to another city. Nobody really knew why or heard from her again. But exactly 1 year later, to the day, Ethan checked his mail and found a handwritten letter.
It was from Sophie, and it contained just a single, devastating sentence. You were the right man, but I met you at the wrong time. It's this haunting final twist that stayed with him forever. It so perfectly illustrates how some people lose relationships because of the lies they tell, while others lose them because they finally tell the truth just a little too late.
So, I want to leave you with this final thought for today's explainer. If you were in Ethan's shoes, what would you do? Would you forgive Sophie? Or would you walk away forever? When your seemingly perfect relationship is built on a hidden past, where exactly do you draw the line on trust? Let that sink in as we wrap things up today.